Thank you, Madam President, my honorable colleagues. It is with some reluctance that I rise in opposition to this legislation, and I must preface my remarks by acknowledging the work of my respected colleague, the Majority Leader. Attempting to capitalize on the growth potential of healthcare, information technology, medical research, and those related fields is a laudable goal, and I think we all share it. We've read the press releases about the fact-finding trips to different states and their success stories, and this idea is not a panacea that's going to fix all of our economic development problems, but it does represent a real opportunity to provide a competitive advantage for Rhode Island. And thus far, what the leaders of this conversation have been unable to do is convert some real good ideas into bricks and mortar. I commend my honorable colleague from Providence for being the one who is willing to try. He's trying to make that happen. Ultimately, however, this is not a question of vision, but it's a question of power. The body created by this bill would far and away be the most powerful body created by our legislative body in this state. And it is a power of 7 unelected individuals with no accountability to the people. Several of the points made by the Majority Leader represent the real benefits of this bill. One-stop shopping for permitting. This is something we have seen with success at Quonset Point. It's certainly an appropriate goal, but we do not need to create this commission with this broad, unaccountable power to accomplish it. When I read the bill, a number of provisions jumped out at me. The first question that I would draw to this chamber's attention and to the public's is deference to the Federal Highway Department's valuation of land for determining fair market value. The legislation pushes that towards federal highway regulations. Well, federal highway regulations, by my understanding, defer to state law. This legislation circumvents existing state law, which is the State Properties Commission. However unwieldy that may be, it exists. And that State Properties Commission could convey these properties to these life science businesses without creating this independent, unelected body. I have concerns about what strikes me as perhaps an unfair advantage given to the local universities over URI. I know that President Dooley at URI supports this, but in the legislation, Brown and Johnson & Wales are mentioned by name. As I said, this is a question of power, not vision. And to say power grab is not a pejorative in this sense. It is a stated purpose of this legislation to consolidate power. There is a reason that we have checks and balances in our systems of government. And despite all of the worthy goals, it's no time to do away with them. I have objections to the fact there is no qualification required for being a member of this commission. 7 individuals to be chosen by the governor. He must consider 3 recommendations by the mayor of Providence. There's no requirement that that any member be an expert in planning, finance, construction, or even life sciences. The leader acknowledged and pointed out that the ex officio members will be the Director of Planning in Providence and the Director of Economic Development Corporation. But under this legislation, as I read it, they have no voting power, so all they can do is advise. To be honest, some of the powers that are outlined in this legislation seem far-reaching and unnecessary for the goals at hand. By my reading of this bill, this commission will have the power to buy land anywhere in this state. Frankly, anywhere at all. I think that's unnecessary. And to place what's been held in trust to the public by the state in this unelected body, I think is inappropriate. This commission will have the power to make contracts and guarantees and incur liabilities to borrow money at any rates of interest as the commission may determine. I'm quoting from the legislation there, and I would add my own observation, without limitation. There's no limitation on the amount that they can borrow. There is no accountability to the public in the way they do it. This body could act as the developer if it so chooses. And now, I have no reason to believe that that's the motivation for putting this committee together, but without the controls put on it, by its enabling legislation, it could act in that manner. This commission could lend money. Could lend money for its purposes, invest and reinvest funds at its option to take and hold real and personal property as security for the payment of funds. This commission is supposed to be bringing revenue into the state. I don't see the mandate for building or for forming a state-backed private lending institution. This commission would have the power of condemnation to take land from a private property owner. This commission would have the power to enter into agreement with a master developer. And I understand from conversations with the sponsor of this bill that no master developer has been identified, but this is a great deal of the public's trust and wealth that we could be putting into private hands. Significant in my concerns is the culture of quasi-public agencies in this state and their potential for corruption. Over the past 2 decades, we have seen corruption generally move out of elected offices and corruption develop where those people serving in a public role are free of the direct scrutiny of the people. We need to look at the scandals that have embroiled the Resource Recovery Agency, state lottery in the past, and a number other that I don't need to catalog. This commission would have the power to extinguish reversionary rights of property owners, subjecting the state and/or this body to litigation that would add an unnecessary expense to this development. Madam President, I think I've made it clear that I find too much danger placed in these pages. I think we need to do this development of the Knowledge District. We need to do it efficiently. We need to make it business friendly. We're going for the right goal. I would submit we're going about it the wrong way. For those reasons, I'll be voting against this legislation. Thank you.